Alright guys, I think it's clear at this point that video game developers, they really need to stop pulling this crap on us. Like, we're just, me personally, I'm getting sick and tired of it, and I really take no pleasure in talking about this subject, but, somebody has to, and it's quite clear that us gamers are getting tired of all these game developing companies pushing their woke agenda down our throats. Video games used to be all about just, having fun. The whole reason people like me play video games is because we get to do things in video games that we can't do in real life. Like some of us fly an airplane or fight mythical monsters or be in a world that's entirely made out of blocks or be a cowboy in the old Wild West. Stuff like that's amazing. It's not real, but it's awesome. It's great to play video games, and video games is a form of, relaxation for me after I've had a stressful day at work. It helps me unwind. So video games and, playing them in general, it's important to a lot of people, and it's fun, it's relaxing. And so it really frustrates people like me that these game developing companies just are getting so woke now, and it's getting quite irritating. And the latest game I want to talk about today is Skull and Bones. Now, this video isn't going to be about how Skull and Bones is, far worse than Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. There's been tons of videos done on that already, and the game's been out for 2 months, and I really wanted to make this video sooner, but I just want to give you guys a heads up on that. This video is not going to be a comparison between Assassin's Creed 4 and Skull and Bones, and there's plenty of videos you can go watch on that. No, Skull and Bones sucks for a different reason, a much bigger reason in my opinion. This has nothing to do with the graphics. I played Skull and Bones for a little bit, and the graphics were okay. The gameplay I thought was pretty pathetic. I personally thought Assassin's Creed 4 was way better, and I'll just say this too, I can understand why people made all those videos, because Assassin's Creed 4, in terms of a pirate game, is just way better than Skull and Bones. So go play Assassin's Creed 4, and for what it's worth, go play Sea of Thieves instead too. That's honestly a better pirate game than Skull and Bones. But like I said, Skull and Bones, in my opinion, sucks for a much bigger reason. And before we move on any further, I just want to say that I did play Skull and Bones, but I didn't even play it for an hour. And the reason being is that at the beginning, there's a cutscene. A lot of games have a cutscene, and, you're getting some backstory, about the game or the story or whatnot. Skull and Bones does pretty much the same thing. But there is a part in that cutscene where it instantly killed my whole interest in the game. And this is a game I was kind of skeptical about for many years. I mean, it was delayed constantly, and that kind of killed the motivation I had to want to buy the game. And so when it finally came out, and what they said in this cutscene, literally a minute after the start of the game, it really killed any interest I had in it. And this is it right here.
The dawn of capitalism, when corporations as mighty as nations rule the seas and dominate the world's valuable trade routes. With an iron fist, they forge a path of tyranny and exploitation, igniting a battle for global supremacy. From the Indian Ocean, a flood of exotic goods feed new addictions and fill coffers with coins tainted in blood. And where there is blood, there are predators.
So for the ones who don't understand what I'm talking about, Ubisoft in this game, Skull and Bones, is trying to make it sound like capitalism is the most evil, corrupt economic system that has ever been created, which could not be further from the truth, if you guys understand what I'm saying. The whole point of capitalism is the exchange of goods between, the creator, an inventor, and the consumer. Some guy creates a new invention that he thinks a consumer will want. Said consumer buys that product, and they're both happy. The consumer has a wonderful product, and the creator or the inventor made a profit. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. The free exchange of goods. There's nothing better than that. But here, Ubisoft is trying to portray capitalism as evil.
Because they're trying to make it sound like capitalism is all about greed. It's built on greed.
And all of these mega rich corporations like, like Amazon, Apple, all of those companies like that, they make them sound so evil and like it's all about money. And they don't care about the little man. And like I said, nothing could be further from the truth. If you just read a little bit about capitalism and you see how it's practiced, and if it's practiced right, quite amazing. It's quite fantastic to witness. But Ubisoft here, for some reason, I don't know why game developing companies do this nowadays. And here's the most funny thing. The funniest part about all this is Ubisoft, a gaming developing company, who is participating in the capitalist system by creating a product that they believe a consumer would want. That product being a video game. So they're using the capitalist system to create this video game to sell to consumers to make a profit. Sounds kind of ironic, huh? Especially the fact that they portray capitalism as evil, corrupt, and nobody should be practicing it. Sounds kind of ironic, don't you think?
That's what you call ironic.
No, you see, the word that I would use is hypocritical. And I truly believe Ubisoft should be ashamed for the stunt that they tried to pull in their newest game, Skull and Bones. And, I don't take any pleasure in saying this, but, put aside the fact that I believe a lot of gaming developing companies, they're pretty idiotic. They come out with pretty stupid updates. I myself have so many ideas for so many games that I play that we could incorporate into them. And, all these gaming developing companies, they don't do that stuff. They just push out pointless, stupid updates. But you push all that aside, and Ubisoft, they've been going downhill for quite some time in my opinion, but here they just really proved to me and the rest of the gaming community just how pathetic they can be. Instead of trying to make a great game, in this case a great pirate game, something that could probably compete against Assassin's Creed 4 and Sea of Thieves, because we don't have a lot of pirate games out there, and that's kind of sad. But instead of making a great pirate game where you're just sailing out in the ocean, you have an AI crew, you're blasting each other with cannons, with pistols, you have epic sword fights. Instead of focusing on that and like building a immersive, beautiful world, they just immediately at the beginning of the game of all times, they had to shove that woke propaganda down our throats. And for that reason alone, I lost interest in the game within the first hour, less than that, which is why I only have less than an hour of gameplay on Skull and Bones. And quite honestly, Skull and Bones doesn't deserve $70 for that game. They really do not. And thankfully, I didn't give them 70 of my dollars, because on the PS5, I don't know if this is on any other platforms, but on PS5, we get a free trial of the game for, I think, about 2 hours. So thankfully for me, I didn't pre-order the game, and Ubisoft did not get my $70 this time. And I really hope for this game alone, they don't get any other people's money, because they do not deserve it for the kind of crap they try to shove down our throats.